Hello and welcome to St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. This is online lecture series and we are discussing irrigation engineering, which is in your 6th semester syllabus. This is 8th lecture of this course and today we'll discuss barrage and its component. In our previous lectures, we have discussed different types of cross drainage structures, and now we'll start with diversion headwork, and in that we also have discussed vias. Today we'll discuss in detail barrage. You already know difference between weir and barrage. What is mean its difference? Basically, you just keep this in mind that wherever when the storage is uh, 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 controlled using gates, then it is definitely a barrage. And whenever the storage is only due to the raised crest, that is weir. But for avoiding confusions, you just also remember that there may be few portion of gate in weir also, and similarly there may be some portion of raised crest in barrage also. But a major portion of storage is occupied by both, that is in case of weir is by raised crest, and in case of barrage that is by gates. Okay, and we also have seen the difference. Okay, uh, we find that the cost of construction in weir and barrage, then we have find out the silting, that is prior that is more in case of weirs in compare with barrage. There we also have idea about the control over the storage and discharge to the canals. Has more barrage has more control. Okay, so till now we have discussed briefly that what is barrage. Now we'll see uh, with an examples and certain components of barrage also. Okay, when the water level on the upstream side of the weir is required to be raised to a different level at different times. Okay, this could be the perfect definition for a barrage. That is when the water level of upstream side, that is our storage side or our diversion headwork. Okay, at the diversion headwork, when we need to raise the water level, okay, for at different levels for different time. Okay, means suppose for any season we need a water level that is around 50-60 feet. For other season that is 20-30 feet. Okay, so this can be only controlled with the help of gates. Okay, and there we construct barrage. Okay, so whenever we require water levels on the upstream side to be different for different time, then the barrage is constructed. Practically, a barrage is an arrangement of adjustable gates. Yes, of course. We are now well aware of barrage, that it has adjustable gates, or that may be sometimes called as shutters. Okay. Uh, Shuttering system, you are familiar with this. Okay, at the different tires of the VS. Okay, and we have different levels of VS. Okay, depending upon the requirements, we open or close the gates for fulfilling our requirement to raise the water level on the upstream. Okay, the water level can be adjusted by opening the gates. Simply, they can be adjusted using these gates. Here you can see an example of barrage. Okay, there is HFL. Okay, and that is pond level. This is actually a dead storage. You'll study, or you might have studied in hydrology what is dead storage. Basically, these waters are not contributing to the canal or any diversion they have, because there is no shuttering systems. Okay, so above this level, that is pond level, we can divert them into canals depending upon their requirements. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind: pond level, and that is highest flood level, HFL. Okay, this is apron. Okay, and this is stone packed. Here you can see clearly upstream sheet pile. Okay, and there downstream sheet pile. Okay, and there is also an apron, and there is provision of inverted filters. We have already seen about them. What is its function? Its function is to provide downstream uh, such a situation that could avoid upstream pressure. Okay, uh, sorry, upstream pressure, no, uh, uplift pressure. Okay, so why we need inverted filters? We need inverted filters so that it could reduce, or it could nullify the effects of uplift pressure. Okay, and why there is an uplift pressure, that we have discussed earlier also, that for any structure, any body, or any component, if it is submerged in water or there is water surrounding that structure, then there will be some uplift force. That is the property of water itself or any liquid. Okay, they try to uplift them, or to throw them up, or to rise them up, or to lift them up. Okay, and that pressure is uplift pressure, and we are now well aware with this. And if it is not controlled or not checked, then what could happen? There may be failure of dam. Okay, or any structure. Here, in case there is barrage, or in suppose it is weir also. Okay, the structure may fail due to this uplift pressure. We'll study this and effects of this in our coming lectures, when we are designing, when we'll read, when we'll learn or study how to design dams. Okay, gravity dams. Basically, there we'll study the effects of uplift pressure. Okay, now divide wall, we have to see this, what is divide wall and why it is required in a diversion headwork. Okay, so divide wall is a long wall constructed at right angle to the weir or barrage. Okay, what is that? Divide wall is constructed, it is constructed along right angle. Okay, we'll see in coming slides. Okay, this is divide wall, this is our barrage. Okay, and this is divide wall, and we'll see why it is constructed. This is constructed along right angle to the weir. Okay, so we are constructing it along right angle, means perpendicular to the uh, weir or barrage. It may be constructed with stone masonry or cement concrete. Okay, so this structure may be of stone masonry or cement concrete. On the upstream side, the wall is extended just to cover the canal regulation on the downstream side. Okay, why it is required? It is required just to cover the canal regulation, means the amount of water we need to supply to the canal. Okay, that will be regulated using this divide wall. Okay, will divide the whole barrage system in two portion, or maybe more than that, depending upon the canals we have. Okay, here you can see, let's see this example. Here, there we construct divide wall. And why we need this divide wall? We need this divide wall so that there must be sufficient amount of water that it could discharge, it could regulate water supply in the off taking canal and the canal system. Okay, suppose if this canal system would have been here, then the divide wall should be in between, or depending upon the requirement. Okay, so simply The divide wall provides a proper allocation of river water so that it can accumulate and they can be sent to the off-taking canals. Here you can see if it would be if divide wall would not be there, then what will happen? The whole level will be same. Okay, suppose in case of dry season, if we require more discharge, then what will happen? There will be equal supply to everywhere, starting from this to this, everywhere there will same pool level. Then what will happen? Will not get that much of supply. Okay, so to avoid such situation, we use divide wall that can easily regulate in case of low flow also. Okay, so this was the main function of divide wall. Okay, so on the upstream side, the wall is extended just to cover the canal regulator, and on the downstream side, it is extended up to launching apron. Okay, and downstream, it is constructed up to launching apron. The function of the divide wall are as follows. Let's see the functions. To form a silt water pocket in front of the canal so that suspended silt can be settled down, which then latter can be cleared through scouring sluices from time to time. So what it will provide? It will be like a pocket in front of canal, and what will happen there? There will be settlement of suspended silts. Okay, that silts that are coming along the flow that can or that may suspend there, and after sufficient time will clear that suspended settled cells with the scouring of sluices. Okay, from time to time. To control the eddy control. Okay, now what is eddy current or cross current in front of canal head? What is eddy current and cross current? Basically, when we diverge any water, there uh, eddy current or cross current arises. What is current basically in flowing water? It is the effect of flow. Okay, means if we just lie in the water, okay, or suppose we throw some floating body in water, it will not stay there. If the river is flowing, it will flow. And why it will flow? Due to the effect of current or current effect of water. So that is current, the flowing effect. And if we put some obstruction in between, then what will happen? It will have some effect, and that effect is called eddy current effect. Okay, basically something is flowing and you just put an obstruction. That what will be? There will be some retaliation. Okay, there will be some response and there will be some reaction to that, and that will be eddy current. Okay, and this could damage the structure also, or this could hamper the regulation works. Okay, so we need to nullify this effect, and how we'll do this? We'll just uh, construct a divide wall so that it could nullify the eddy current effects. It provides a straight approach in front of the canal head, and yes, it provides straight approach, means it is easy to divert the canal water. Okay, it resists the overturning effects on the weir or barrage caused by the pressure of impounding water, and also it reduces the overturning effect. And now you might feel difficulty in understanding this, but just try to listen what I'm saying. uh, Suppose we have deposition of water, that is accumulation of water on any with any regulation work or diversion work. Okay, so what will happen if there is deposition of water in the storage or anywhere? Then water will water will have its pressure. Okay, and that pressure might turn that structure. Okay, and that effect is called overturning effect, because suppose if water is of 90 feet, we all have we all know that that pressure due to liquid increases as we go deep. Okay, so the pressure will be more and more at the downside and lesser on the upside. Okay, means at depth the pressure will be higher, and at the top of the water storage there will be low pressure. So this leads to a moment. Okay, what is moment? Basically, when we apply a force to a some distance, okay, to some distance from the center of gravity of any structure or any body, then there arises a moment, and this moment that arises due to uh, pressure of water, okay, water pressure, can lead to the overturning, means it would turn the structure, and this is overturning. Okay, and we'll study this in detail in our design of dam. Generally, we study gravity dams, and there we'll study all of them. Earlier told you also, we'll study the design of dams, and there we'll understand in detail what is overturning effect. Till now, you might have some idea. So to resist the overturning effect on weir or barrage caused by the pressure of the impounding water, that is stored water, so it will resist overturning effect. Okay, so what are the points? It serves the function of pockets that could lead the settlement of suspended silts, and later it can be removed by scouring effects, okay, from time to time. Then second point is it controls the eddy current or cross currents in front of canal head. Third point is it provides a straight approach in front of the canal. Okay, and last part is it resists the overturning effects. Okay, you can see this is divide wall. Okay, now this one is really important. What is this? Scouring sluices or under sluices. We already know what is scouring. Basically, scouring is rubbing off or a removal of the settled bed or bed surface. Okay, so scouring sluices are the opening provided at the base of weir or barrage. Definitely, if we have to clear something that is settled in bed, so we need to provide an arrangement at the base, okay, at the bottommost point. Okay, so scouring sluices are the openings that are provided at the base of the weir. Where we provide this? We just provide at the base of weir. Okay, so the we provide them at the base of the weir. These openings are provided with adjustable gates. Normally, the gates are kept closed. Okay. Suppose if we are not closing this gate, what will happen? They will never store some any water. Okay, the storage will be zero if we provide openings at the bottommost point. So we keep them closed and we open only when there is requirement of scouring effects. Okay, means there is silting beyond the accepted or limit level, then we'll allow the scouring effects, that is clearance of bed level, and what would be deposited there? There will be settled. We already have understand that divide wall also perform the function, but what is that function? That clears the suspended settled silts. So here also, what will it do? It will allow to scour off the suspended particles that had settled. Okay, the suspended silt particles that are settled at the base. Now they will get scour off, and then it could work efficiently. Okay, the storage can work efficiently. The suspended silt goes on depositing in front of the canal head to regulate. Yes, of course. In course of time, the suspended silt particles get deposited. Okay, the deposition increases with time. So we need to regulate this gates. And what are these gates? These gates are scouring sluices that are provided at the base of the weir or barrage. When this silt deposition become appreciable, means beyond the desired or limited ones, the gates are opened and the deposited silt is loosened with an aggregator mounting on a boat, and these aggregator uh, loosen the seals and they clear that. The muddy water flows toward the downstream side and through the scouring sluices. Okay, so these agitators mounted on a boat loosen the deposited silts, and that muddy water created there flows to the downstream side. The gates are closed, but at the period of flood, the gates are kept opened. Okay, during flood, the gates are opened, and now you would be surprised that why during flood we discharge all water through that. Because suppose there is chances of flood, so in your opinion the situation may be like, why do we then allow, it would lead more damages to the downstreams if we allow water more to flow there. But we also have to check with the stability of structures. Okay, so in case of flood, to control the structure, okay, or to avoid the failure of structure, we keep them open. Okay, here you can see this is our under sluices. This is our under sluices. The water is discharged through this, you can clearly see, and this will clear the silt deposited there. Okay, now after scouring, you can see the downstream side. It is muddy water all there. Okay. Now another important component of this structure is fish ladder. What is fish ladder? Basically, fish ladder is provided just by the side of the divide wall. Okay. We provide in the side of divide wall. And why we provide fish ladder? The name itself resembles its purpose. Okay, rivers are important source of fishes. Yes, rivers have fishes. There are various type of fish in the river, and the nature of fish varies from type to type, and their nature also varies from type. The nature of fish varies from type, but in general, the tendency of fish is to move from upstream to downstream in winters and from downstream to upstream in monsoon. We have uh, read somewhere, or you have might heard from anyone else, that fishes move from downstream to upstream in monsoon. And why they do so? There is a funny reason with that. That they are fool enough that they think that the water coming from uh, upstream. Therefore, there might be more and more water there. So they want to go to the deeper water section or region where water is more. So they try to just go to upstream from downstream. That is in monsoon season. But in winter season, they do vice versa. That is, they go to downstream from upstream. Okay. So you have to keep this in mind. This movement is essential for their survival, and they also it is this movement is it necessary for their survival or for their life. Okay, so why do we need then fish ladder? We'll see. Due to the construction of weir or barrage, okay, this movement gets obstructed. What will happen if we'll provide an obstruction, a structure that won't allow fishes to pass through? Then they would not be able to go to the upstream from downstream, or in winter season and in monsoon season from downstream to upstream. Okay, So this will obstruct their movement and that could affect them. For the movement of fishes along the course of the river, the fish ladder is essential. Okay. So now we are well aware that why fish ladder is essential. Fish ladder is essential for the movement of fishes. Okay, we provide a special provision for the movement of fishes. Okay, here you can see this is our fish ladder. And why it is provided? It is provided for the movement of fishes from upstream to downstream or from downstream to upstream, depending. The baffle walls. Okay, now we have baffle walls are constructed in zigzag manner so that velocity of flow within the ladder does not exceeds 3 meter per second, and the width, length and height of this ladder depends upon the nature of the river and the type of weir or barrage. Okay, now we resist the flow velocity up to 3 meter per second. And why do we need that? Okay, we have constructed a structure that is fish ladder and we restrict its velocity up to 3 meter, and we require this only because in high flow fishes might not be able to uh, go to upstream from downstream that they usually do in monsoons. Okay, so we have to construct a structure that could restrict or that could control the speed up to 3 meter per second. Okay, so with there we construct buffer walls, okay, in zigzag manners. Okay, what we do there we construct buffer walls. Okay, so we'll see in detail uh, the diagrams of fish ladder and we'll continue from here in our coming lectures. Okay, so till then, thank you for listening. Feel free to ask any doubt. Okay, you just contact me on this number that is written over there, and you can also send me text or you can WhatsApp or you just can mail. Okay, using this mail ID. Thank you for listening. Take care.